I thought I could just like leave all my problems behind, which didn't work out as well as I had imagined that to work out. And so I had to deal with some pretty serious mental health issues, and I thought that like giving up golf would solve those issues.
We were talking through before this interview that she's a success story with mental health. But I always tell people that you just got to ask for help around here because there's so many people that are willing to give it to you. And she did, and she got it.
Mein Name ist Celina Sattelkau und ich studiere Psychologie und Kommunikation von Wissenschaft und Technologie an der Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. Sometimes like when I maybe get a little annoyed or mad or angry about like maybe things don't working out so well, I need to like remind myself that like the reason why I love playing golf, like yes, the game, but also like just being out, like outside, being so connected to nature. And I think a lot of that stems from like me growing up close to nature in the first place. Like part of the city or town, I guess, where I'm from is called Hambach. And it's actually, I really love talking about it because in 1832, the first German flag was put up there. So it's kind of like the home of German democracy. The house where I grew up, we lived pretty close to the forest where we go hiking a lot. And then my first kind of like, I guess, immersions with golf, like playing it myself, were in a summer camp, and we would actually camp on the golf course. Having those childhood experiences with nature kind of gave me that connection, like golf and nature, and that fun with it. I have a minor in environmental sustainability studies, and so I got really interested in like environmental issues, and I realized that like adding that major of CSET, that's like the short version of communication of science and technology, just kind of complements like all I want to do. Basically, communicating my knowledge about environment to the people while also like using my financial knowledge to make a positive impact.
Her tee time, I'll never forget, her tee time was later than ours, so we got to go watch her play her last two holes. And I saw something in her that like, man, the girl's got a lot of fire, got a little bulldog in her. There's no give up in her. She's gonna fight and give you everything in her tank from start to finish. And she's got a fist pump.
I think I'm generally a very competitive person. I think that's something maybe that's part of my genetics even.
You love the word German. She ever uttered any German phrase?
I don't know what that means. Maybe I need to bleep that. I don't know. That's the only German word I know, but she says that a lot. There it is. Boom. Part of our culture and what we like to do is when a freshman, you know, they're here for orientation, the whole team likes to show up and welcome them and help move into the dorm. And she had just gotten in town a couple days prior to that, and I remember thinking, man, you got some serious jet lag going on here, and she just looked super tired. And so we're all in this room together. Next thing you know, getting the call, she got COVID.
I had trouble like feeling my leg in class, and I was like, that's weird.
They started doing some tests, started letting her see different doctors, and next thing you know, she's got neuropathy. There were different times where one day she may not be able to have any feeling in her hands and her fingers. The next day, it's almost like the tips of her fingers were on fire.
I was like, just really questioning if I'd ever be able to like come back to that level I was. And I think that was just really, really hard for me mentally, like not knowing and like feeling like this is happening to me, but I can't do anything about it.
Spring season of her junior year is when I first kind of learned about all the mental health stuff that she was battling.
All the pressure over the years, like being on the national team from like a very young age, has kind of taken that fun away from me and like that joy I have for golf. That's why I talk so much about like the connectedness to nature, because I think that's a huge part of why I do love the game. And also I guess like being able to ask for help and reach out for help, and also receiving that help was really important for me to be able to keep going.
You see, you know, there's so many stories that don't turn out like Celina.
That's what I said earlier about like being grateful about like all these setbacks, because I think it taught me so much and made me just grow so much as a person. I'm so grateful for all the lessons that I was able to learn. I really think that like my whole time at Vanderbilt has been kind of shaped by this like idea of growing and like having a growth mindset, like not being afraid of failure. Actually, for my grad school application, I had to like answer a question, and the question I got was, what would you tell your younger self? I was like, well, if I could tell my maybe pre-college self something, it would be that like you should not be afraid of failure. Like you should not be afraid to like mess up. You should just go into everything with like a growth mindset, and also ask for help if needed. There have been some things I like had to go through that were really tough, but I think it just taught me so much, and it's just helped me like, yeah, grow as a person so much that I wouldn't want to change a thing.